Welcome back to How to Win at Chess, a series where I take on my Twitch subscribers in 10-minute rapid games and walk you through the thought process of openings, middle games, and end games while I go up the rating ladder. In this video, we're taking on the ratings from 700 till about 1200. The full video in the stream goes until 1400, but I had to cut it down. It was simply too long. Hope you enjoy. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below on what your favorite opening is or what you want me to do in the next episodes, and there's timestamps on the video player as always. Twitch, say hi to YouTube. YouTube, say hi to Twitch. We've got a long queue of games today. The lowest rated person is 710 rapid. The highest rated person is 1416. We're going to play games. We are going to talk about them. Maybe not all the games are going to make it in. If the video goes too long, I like to keep these under an hour and a half. It's game time. Now, I actually played Blundergot in a recent video. I played Blundergot in a recent video. He plays e4. I'm going to go with the Sicilian defense versus e4, which is a way of fighting for the center with a flank pawn. And it's not the most common thing. It's 700 rapid, but it's perfectly viable. It's a good weapon, and we will see immediately what he does. So he plays the move d4, and this is already a thing that I can just capture. Right, so I can just capture this pawn. That's kind of the whole point. I mean, I put a pawn out on c5, in order to fight for the center. Right? So now, if he takes with the queen, this is suboptimal. Because he's bringing his queen out early, and I can develop naturally. That's exactly right. Now, in this position, there is a move c3, which is called the Smith-Morra Gambit. And that's one of the gambits against the Sicilian defense. Bringing out your queen like this isn't the best thing. It's actually better for white to play the move knight f3 and then d4, or at least c3 and then d4 to fight for the center. This is not losing by any means. I mean, it kind of resembles Scandinavian defense. I mean, bringing out the queen is not... It's not like losing. I mean, it's only losing if you lose the queen. Otherwise, you just have to move the queen again. So... So the queen's under attack. Where is he going to move it? You can go all the way back. This is not the right... Okay. Okay. So this is wrong, and I feel bad because I don't want to do this so quickly, but I'm going to go here, and I'm going to leave it up to him. And I just, like, I don't like to win these games so quickly because... I mean, if it happens, I'm not saying I'm winning right now, but I see chat saying, you know, this is why, don't put the queen here, but this is okay, this is fine. If we win this game quickly, we'll still turn it into an instructive moment. Don't put the queen on the same diagonal as the king. You can lose the queen very fast like this. But... that's it. We're all going to learn. At the time of recording this, we have 2,400 viewers. I don't know how many views we have on YouTube now. 0, because this video isn't out on YouTube. Although technically, if you're watching this, it is. Oh my god, what's going on? How many timelines are we living in? But we're all going to learn. Do not play queen takes d4 in the Sicilian. Do not play queen takes d4 in the Sicilian. Just good practice. You guys are all writing F. Is that... Okay, my stream didn't crash. Okay, that's just you guys writing the letter F. What about G? Can you guys write G? He played the best move according to the engine? When? When did he... When did he do that? This was certainly not the best move according to the engine, I'll tell you that. Yeah, so he takes... Now, actually, it would be better for him to not... let my knight come closer. It would actually be better, technically, for him to make me take his queen and then develop another piece. Even the smallest of margins. Now, you don't always lose games when you're up a queen. And, you know, you might resign out of, like, tilt here. That's the thing that people do. If they blunder early, they just say, you know what, to hell with this game, I'm going to play another game. But we still need to learn how to convert a winning position, okay? Because people don't always find the most optimal way to get their queen involved. They just don't do that. And they can. And they should. Like, for example, I'm still gonna castle. We still need to keep our pieces relatively safe. Thank you, Thundering Giraffe, for being awesome. And the other thing is that the queen can only be useful with friendly pieces, right? So, for example, this knight moving would have been a little bit better. Like I said, I'm just going to develop a piece here. Nothing complicated. I'm attacking this pawn, and I want a castle. Now, he has a few ways of defending. That's a good move, because if I take his pawn, he takes my knight. But you should keep going. And this king moved over to defend this knight jumping in with the fork. That's why he played king to d1. But now if we take, we have this, and there's another fork. So it's a different tactical pattern. These two squares, f2 and c2, are like the juicy squares for the knight to jump in on and create these forking opportunities. So you might think, I get a pawn, he gets my knight, end of story. But follow the path of the knight and realize that there's still something that you can capture. If there isn't, then, like, if this bishop was here, then yeah, we can't take this pawn because it's protected. But in this case, we will get this. And the more things we can clear off the board for our queen to have open lines, the better. So he comes and goes here. Now I don't want to castle anymore because my knight is attacked. I can bring the knight back to where it was. And I can also go here because this bishop is the defender of this pawn. So knight d5 is probably slightly better than the move knight c6. Yes, in the words of Mr. Scheibel, you resign now. But, like I said, not always necessary. Not always necessary. Plays bishop d4. Okay, so that's attacking this. Now I'm just going to castle. Okay. Only reason he didn't blunder the fork is because he's listening? That's not true. That's not true. It's not true at all. I played him before. So simplifying is good. He offers me a trade of knights. I mean, you don't need to take. There's a lot of good moves, but now we need to get other pieces into the game, and we need to find a way to activate our queen. Okay? Oh. So for example, you can bring your queen out to one of these three squares and lose the queen. Blunders happen. I'm going to go b6 and bishop b7. Oh, shout out to Fianchetta for the raid. So many raids. Thank you. I'm not used to streaming at this hour. I'm usually done at this point, so the Twitch chess landscape probably looks a little bit different. First time on Twitch? Welcome. If you're watching on YouTube in the future, give us a shot. We have live music. What's even playing right now? Ah, Khalid. Location. Send me your location. Send me your location. Just send me message. Just send me location. Bishop b7. Of course, again, we are happy with this trade. He doesn't have a piece. So, I mean, he doesn't have a queen. He does have pieces, but he doesn't have a queen. So we are happy with trades. I mean, we have a lot of options. We can continue to push forward with space with our pawns. One of the biggest drawbacks of our position is we don't have a lot of space. And if we can get all the pieces into the game with our moves, but if we can't actually take any space, here's an interesting concept, right? What if in this position I said black had to play without moving another pawn? Isn't that interesting? That's kind of a fascinating concept. Black cannot move a pawn. That can kind of teach you how to maneuver in and out of your pieces. I don't know. You guys are saying the music is soft? Okay, well, let's make it a little bit louder. Maybe that helps. Okay, that guy gets a nice little ban there. Looked over at chat, immediately saw a bad message. Immediately banned. That's how we work. All right, take. So this is not good. He, of course, should keep his pieces on the board. He got into college yesterday. Fantastic. Actually, a couple days ago, someone said that they got into Stanford, which is a massive accomplishment. It's a massive, massive accomplishment. I don't know if you guys know this, but earlier this year, before I was doing so much streaming, I was... none of this is under attack. I was helping a friend of mine run a company which did college admissions consulting, which in the United States is a big deal because people prepare for college in 8th grade. Okay, the knight is here. I mean, I can attack it. Now, you have a choice of pawns that you can take. One of them is significantly riskier to capture than the other, and I'll tell you right now, it's this one. And it's this one because you think you attack the rook, but in reality, when the rook moves, it hits your bishop and then it opens the line toward your king. This is significantly better to take, but a little bit unnecessary. I'm gonna play d6, and I know I just said, like, what if there's a situation where we don't move our pawns, but it'll show you, like, it's just conceptually speaking, if you never increase the amount of space you have, it's gonna be really hard to maneuver, and generally pawns are the ones that go first for the space advantage, right? So that's how it would work. Now you guys are deliberating college, I see. What about converting positional advantage? I don't know what... In this particular case, no positional advantages are going to be converted. Now we play e5. We have the extra queen. We need to take space, and at a certain point, we need to bring the queen out and start actually doing something with the queen, right? Did I consider the checks in that position? Good point. I mean, I could have considered queen g5. Yes. That move would have also been okay. But I'm also trying to educate here in, like, using pawns, right? Filling out PhD apps. Okay, some of these raids really brought in some fascinating members of the chat. What? I looked back and there was something I can capture, so I took it. Okay. Okay. That's not a hanging. Nothing is under attack. Let's bring the rook. I want to trade the rook off. Okay. Trade off the rook. He has a few choices. I mean, his only way of not trading rooks would be to put his rook on one of these two squares, because there it will get eaten. Yes, I did just mention this pawn is a little bit too dangerous. By the way, fascinating. That's the third person we've banned in the last 5 minutes. Man, these raids, bro, y'all gotta ban better. I don't know what's going on. Now we have our moment. So I can't put our queen anywhere, but I can go right here. No, I can't. Why did I do that? Huh? Why did I? That wasn't smart. Why did I? That's just my bishop. Yeah. I thought I was just going down here, and I am. But I don't have, like, I can't, okay. All right, cool. Cool. Good stuff by Gotham. Good stuff. Trying to educate his viewers how to hang pieces. Okay. Now we are guaranteed a rook trade. No, we're not. No, we're not. What? We're not guaranteed a rook trade. I mean, no, we're just straight up not guaranteed a rook trade at all if my opponent goes here. See, because I thought if the rook goes over here, I can take the bishop. And it's pinned. Sometimes you have to look long range with the rooks, right? But, well, credit to my opponent who's finding some clutch moves. Let's play queen d3. Still, we're doing quite well. Still doing quite well. Would g3 have been a good move? Hold on. Let's simplify. Let's simplify. Not to take the rook, but to take this. No, please don't play bots. Bots play weird, but everybody feels a little bit differently about this. So I'm going to get a bishop. He's going to take my queen. I'm going to take his rook, and I'll have 2 rooks versus 1. Not the cleanest conversion of my life, but I just hung a bishop because I don't know, crazy. In this position, it would have been better not to hang the bishop. Would have been better to move the bishop and then bring the queen. I just, for some reason, thought I had something, and I mean, I probably did. Luckily, we have a good safety net of being up enough material, but a GM would have hung the queen. That's the difference. See, an IM only hangs a bishop. There were better things that I could have played. Now I'm gonna bring the rook down to the second rank. This is an instructive endgame moment. Rooks on the second or the seventh rank are extremely dangerous in endgames, because that's where the majority of the pawns and pieces often are. And then you'll be able to kind of clean up. So now I'm going to bring my second rook. And it's bad news. Also, ooh, that's a good move. And the one thing to keep in mind here is our back rank. When you clear out your back rank, he's going to lose on time in the next 2 seconds because there's no bonus time. But when you clear out your back rank, you got to not get mated. And luckily, both these guys are controlling... He says GG, I'm going to say GG. Both these guys are controlling enough squares that it's fine. You can always create a fort for your king, but this is bad news for white. He will literally lose everything that he leaves there if the 2 rooks get to the back rank. But in the beginning of the game, you gotta go back with your queen. You gotta get it out. Or don't play d4 so quickly. Play knight f3 followed by d4, c3 followed by d4, or another different idea in the Sicilian, okay? PogChamp, McSpoons. I'm gonna start with d4. I feel like in a lot of these climbs, I've started with d4. What's up, Calc? What opening can you play on both sides every single game? The King's Indian. It's pretty good. Okay. All right. So this is the London versus the King's Indian. What I recommend for you to do against the King's Indian is to play knight c3. Because this controls the center. And you can play queen to d2 and then castle long. And this is good because this will set up a battery versus the bishop. Now long castle. Doing pretty good. Bishop h6. Now we're not winning. We're not winning, but this puts very practical pressure on our opponents. Can I get a thumbs up in the chat? So, no? Oh, okay, that's unfortunate. My opponent plays the move e5. This is a very common mistake in the King's Indian. Because people play their setup and they kind of pre-move their moves. And actually I have a video out on YouTube tomorrow at 7 in the morning. So that means it's already out when this video gets published to YouTube, called How to Study Openings, How to Learn Chess Openings. So I'm going to take, which is going to bring his king up. And that video will teach you cannot just pre-move in the openings. You have to adapt to what your opponents are playing. And just like that, the door's open. He doesn't scan for the queen on the other side of the board. These are 2 early blunders from these players who can after these games are done, totally learn from these games and not make the same mistakes again. Like, that is, you can't just pre-move e5. It just doesn't work, okay? Like, you have to adapt. When long castle versus short castle happens, you have to stop this e5 thing, and you need to create a queenside attack with c6, b5, and bringing out your queen and attacking on that side of the board. Knight c6, I'm just going to bring my rook all the way back. So that's what you have to do. That's what you have to do. Bishop f5 is a good move. I can play e3, f3, and e4, building with my pawns in the center of the board. I can't just go e4, because he'll take it. I can develop my knight. I can go g3, bishop g2. I have a variety of options. I can play knight d5, offering a trade of knights. Let's just go e3 for now and try to get the bishop out. Okay, well, I'm very happy with the rook trade. He definitely doesn't want that. We got She Jesus in the chat. Now, I'm quite familiar with the user with one S in their name. Are you new? Now, there is an issue with this move. I'm gonna see if he sees it, but maybe not. He has this. To try to get into this square. Let's see if he sees it. McSpoons. I don't know. Maybe McSpoons is a girl. Maybe they see it. I'm gonna be. I've always just said. Like I suppose, like, what is it called? The male version of an opponent. But chess has always been like that, and like, I don't know, like over 95% chance it's accurate. I think 97% of my YouTube viewers are male. I don't know. It's probably bad habit. I probably shouldn't do that. But it's just habit, honestly. So this is the only way to defend the f2 square. The only way to defend the f2 square. All right. And of course, we saw this kind of thing last game. The knight outflank jumping into the f2 square. So, am I doing this tomorrow too? I don't know. I don't know. Maybe. Should we do it? Now I'm gonna kick him out. I'm gonna see. I did it again. Well, I'm in the knight. Who knows? Yeah, kick it out. 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 Get out. Go away. Get out. Bye. Leave. Go away. Goodbye. See you later. Au revoir. Ciao. Now let's attack the bishop. Also not necessarily the most accurate move. What would I do in this position if you were black and they were still 885? I would play this move. It's a great point. Okay, very good. Pinning this. Now I have to defend. And essentially, I would just plant my pieces and make sure my rook has no entrance squares, which is an extremely important detail. And then it would be up to white to find their accurate moves. This is the best move in this position because you guarantee this bishop will get captured. Absolutely guarantee. Anywhere the bishop moves, and the more you get off the board, the better. In fact, you don't even necessarily need to take the bishop right away. Who's protecting the bishop? The horse, right? The horse. So they take. Now, bishop takes knight is the next idea. Chop off all the pieces. Give black no way of coming back into this game. No way. So, take on c6. Now, of course, my opponent can play the move knight d8, but then I will play rook d1. That, like, this is the final move. This is it. That's like the fourth piece of Exodia. Or fifth. I mean, I know the fifth is like when you win, but I'm saying like when you get the fourth, you feel really good, and then you just need one more piece, and then you win. Rook d1, I guess, would be Exodia, but then we still haven't won the game. We still have to win it. What is Exodia? Oh, if only you knew. Taking on c6 doesn't give squares for the horsey? That's okay. Our horse can go back. Well, is this move attacking anything? No, because this is actually protected. This is a free pawn. Okay, it's just a free pawn. Easy. I did not play Yu-Gi-Oh! Competitively, no. My parents refused to buy me Yu-Gi-Oh! Decks, so I would get, what are those called? Proxies? When you would print out cards, right? And you would, like, tape them on paper. That's what I would do. A3 now. Of course, rook d1 is good, but it's better that this knight has no escape. So this knight will go to d5, and then we will take. Yeah. Now we take. Again, simplification. Simplification. And we're going to take one of these pawns next. Not this one, because it's protected, but this one is good, and we can still play the move pawn g5, which attacks the knight and removes the defender, or we can go rook d1. I still feel bad for my rook because I haven't moved my rook. I'm going to play 24 moves without moving my rook. Why doesn't black just go knight c2 if it's dead anyway? Because you would only get a pawn. This way, at least you get a knight. That's the difference. You can go back and trade. Okay, attacks this. Of course, just getting this pawn out of danger is fine. Also, defending it with the rook is good. Now, a knight should not wander in like this, because I can attack it, and the problem is this knight has no escape. It's never getting out. It is never getting out. We just have to attack it the right way. If this, take the pawn. Continuity, the rook guards. So this, and that's it. That's it. Unfortunately, there is nothing for the knight to do. At this point, it would be very difficult to save this position with black if the roles were reversed, because all white has to do is make a queen. And you got to take a few pawns, and then after that, you need to not stalemate. That's it. When you have this much more material, what you need to do now is you need to push the pawns to the other side, get a queen, and surround the enemy king. Cool? Outstanding. So this is all I'm going to do. Never mind. I am not going to do that. My opponent resigns. So my opponent, again, needs to go back to the drawing board and go, what did I do wrong? Okay, they played this against my King's Indian. In this position, don't take, because that just lets in the queen. Now you can then say, well, the knight can kick the queen out and attack this, but the queen will come back. So what do you do here? You can play a move like c6 and play b5 and queen a5. I can even flip it so we look at it from their perspective. Another thing is, when you see this is happening, because you could see it's happening, right? You can see it's happening. Like, they're gonna castle queenside. I'm not gonna castle short. Just keep the king here. No one is gonna attack my king if my king's not. So now c6. What's interesting is that I always play the game like this. I just delay castling, and then I'll play like this. I've even done something like this. I let the queen sit, and then I just go to a5. And if the queen goes here, I just kick the queen out. Everything is guarded. So I've played games like this too, where I just keep the king in the middle, and then even sometimes we'll develop and just go the other way and turn the attack totally against them. So, but the difference here is my opponent just pre-moved. They literally just pre-moved all these moves, and this is what happened. They lost the piece on move 9. So, but that was an instructive game. I mean, that's why these games are good. Rocky Elk is next. Rocky Elk is next, 979. We already have a Q, my friends. There's a command, Q. If my opponent plays d4, I'm going to play the NIMZO Indian this game. Rocky Elk, hello, thank you. Knight f6. e6, b6, and bishop b7. A very good, defensive, solid setup against d4. So e6. It's Rock Yelk. Rock Yelk. No, I think it's Rocky Elk. Is it Rocky Elk? Or is it Rocky Elk? Anyway, d5 here goes back to a queen's gambit. c5 can make it something else. I'm going to play b6. So bishop b7. And generally, you put the bishop on b4. That you kind of wait for this knight to arrive, and then you pin it. Of course, you can also just play bishop b7. Some people actually prefer in this position to play this move, because now that I've done this, they can play a3. This pin is a bit annoying in these kinds of positions, and you can just block it, because going out to b4 could be a little bit dangerous. A little bit dangerous. But chat, I'm going to let you decide. Do I play defensively, or do I show you the aggressive strategy in this system? So I need you to decide the fate. Aggro. Okay, you guys want to see the aggro? Let's go aggro. When you have a pinned knight directly to a queen, it can be a little bit difficult to move. But in queen's pawn positions where you've played the pin on the king, there is a very cool system revolving around delaying castling, where you play h6, bishop h4, and then g5, sacrificing your king's safety, forcing the bishop to move here, and then you jump in the middle with knight e4. A lot of grandmasters play this now. and it's just basically trying to punish White's setup right away by being really hostile and, I mean, breaking a lot of standard rules of the game. Like, and it's about to happen. So we're gonna play h6. Now, they might just take. Sorry, they might just take. Like, if this happens, then okay, whatever, you know? Whatever. Is this hyper modern? I'm not very good with the terminology. I just put the pieces on the squares. You can come up with the terms, but I really don't know. You can call it the Gooble Dooble Bobble, and I'll just be like, okay, okay. I've spoken to grandmasters about openings, and they don't know names of openings. Why would I let them force my bishop away? Well, because you like the bishop pinning the knight, ultimately. Like, a bishop is slightly better than the knight, unless you are causing structural damage to your opponent's position. That's the only reason, early on, that you would trade so quickly. In my case, I probably will trade because my opponent has two choices. Queen out and get attacked, not anymore because they took my knight, or bc3, doubling the pawns. Now I take. Knight Rider says, been watching your streams after I finished law school finals. So how does that work? Do you now have to take the bar? How does that work now? Taking is an inaccuracy? Slightly. But if my opponent now just, well, actually now it's not so simple because a very natural move e3, just trying to bring the bishop out, destabilizes this knight. That's actually kind of a funny point here, is that I can punish my opponent already. But I feel like we've won 2 games quickly from opening blunders, and I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. It's the right move, but I don't want to do that. So if they play e3, g3, I promise if they are stream sniping, I will not take the knight on f3. I will not do it. But that is also a very good move. Very nice. Nice move. Wow, that's a fantastic move. So I can take, and they can't take with a knight because of the pin. They can take with the queen. Okay. I'm going to take. Like I said, this is going here for 2 reasons. Number 1, if queen takes, bishop takes pawn. Number 2, if pawn takes, doubled pawns. Which looks like a Tetris piece. They get the central Tetris piece. Okay. And the way you play this, well, we can just castle, I suppose, as a start. Let's just castle. Okay? We've castled. The position, first of all, is closed, right? I have 8 pawns. They have 8 pawns. Which means that the position is pretty closed. Just means that we both have a big fence. However, my opponent has a more active fence than me. I'm going to play d6. You might say, well, why aren't you playing knight out? Because my knight has nowhere to go if I play knight c6. Where's it going to go? It's not going to be the first thing attacking this fence. So I need my knight as a maneuvering piece. That's what I need. I need it to be on d7, and I would like for it to go here, or this way in the future. Because going this way, it's not terrible. But we need to fight with our pawns. Was c5 a good move? c5 was a good move. And if d5, we just have to find a way to get this bishop out. So the game is going to be won and lost with decisions with pawns in the center of the board. e5 for white is a decent move. I don't have to take. And this is not very scary because the bishop doesn't checkmate my king. My queen first, the queen first would have checkmated, right? Queen first would have checkmated. If this was queen bishop and they play e5, I'm busted. However, they play e5 now. I can take. I also don't have to take. Oh my goodness, long castle. Wow. 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 Okay, check is, I mean, a move, but then they just move their king. And I don't want my queen to be a target in the future. It's not quite a target because I would take the knight. Breaking in the center with e5 was my plan. Developing with knight d7 was my plan. I don't know. There's another plan here. When you get the knight to a5 and you play bishop a6, that's what you do. You get the bishop and the knight to go for this pawn. I'm going to go with our plan. I'm going to go e5. You'll notice I traded my dark squared bishop. But I don't have... Right? I don't have a dark squared bishop, but 7 of my pawns are on dark squares. So I've created a structural like, habitat for my dark square maneuvering, I should say. Like, I've rebuilt my dark squares quite well. Having said that, my bishop would be a lot happier if the board opened up a little bit. Wow, rook g1. So my opponent wants to go g4. I think. And that looks good. But there is one problem. I think that's what they want. I mean, otherwise this move doesn't make any sense. So I'm going to finish my development, and then I'm going to make my decisions. Notice I have not taken. Why? They undouble their structure. So then they just get 3 pawns like this with no weakness. Having said that, I do open my e-file, and I can target their pawn. But I would much prefer them to take me. I would be much happier with this. Maybe rook e8 now. Again, I would be happy with this, because what that does is it leaves them with a doubled isolated pawn and another one. Right? If d5, my bishop gets locked out of the game, but my knight can go to the c5 square. So my opponent is very stubborn. For good reason. For good reason. And g4 doesn't work because of this. But now I've got to do something. Now I got to do something. I see some of you coming in saying you've been watching on YouTube. This also will be on YouTube. So this is, we're recording How to Win at Chess episode 2. It's going to be good. Man, I really don't want to take. The problem is if I go here, putting more pressure, my opponent's just going to play this. They're going to push, and I can't put my knight there. Okay, you guys are saying hi to YouTube again. Let's take. Let's open things up a little bit. I'm not thrilled, but whatever. You're not always going to be thrilled in life, you know? Sometimes you got to learn to take an L. Now I'll play c5. So I'm striking once again at the center, and I'm making my opponent make a decision. This is an incredibly solid 970. I mean, incredibly solid. So far, very good decision making. Okay, that guy's given the middle finger to YouTube, so he will be receiving a 10-minute timeout. I have warned many times to be nice. Very solid play so far by my opponent. What about a6? To try to go here, I respect that as well. Of course, we have another game of opposite side castling, which means that we can create pawn breaks on opposing sides of the board. Yeah, a6 now is actually a wonderful move. a6 is b5 is what I was going to save. So the person who is attacking prefers a closed center. Ooh. Ooh, are we sure about that, my friend? Ooh. But you know, what's interesting is that they can take with the bishop. So like b5, cb5, bishop b5. And I don't quite get the opening of the position that I want. I don't quite get it. Knight e5 is not a bad move. Like, it's a good move. But do I want to trade knights is the question. I don't know if I want to trade knights is the answer. I can again give a check, but we're not. And then I can put my knight on f6, but that's not actually attacking this pawn because it's defended. Do I want to sacrifice the pawn? It's probably not the smart thing to do. I'm not going to lie to you. So I'm going to go knight e5, which I'm also not happy about, but sometimes you have to, I don't know. Sometimes you got to choose the lesser of the two evils. I think losing the queenside pawn for seemingly no reason. If the opponent were to take with the a pawn, allowing my rook into the game, that would be fine. But you can't just play like that. Like, you can't just be like, oh, if he goes here, I get my rook in. I mean, we need to think of the... Oh, finally a blunder. Goodness gracious, I was waiting forever. I was waiting forever. Oh, and everybody was saying queen a1, but then just king d2 somehow, and my queen's under attack, and I can't do anything. I can't take this pawn, so my queen would literally have to come back. Now, finally, he makes a mistake. Queen f4 check, which is a fork of the king and the knight. Is my queen getting trapped? Like, that actually is a legit... You can't just... Your queen's got to have a way out. Looks good. And you say, well, what about this? And then that. Also good, but my knight is better than the bishop. You're really going to tell me that this bishop, which is blocked by all of its own pawns, has any role in this game? This knight is much better. This knight is much better. There was another cool move here, which is unnecessary, but let's say, for example, this pawn was on g3, and I couldn't give a check. In this position, there is the move queen takes f2. which looks like they can take, right? But then knight takes bishop. Forking the king and the queen. So it's a sacrifice of the king for one move. The queen for one move. I deflect the queen from the defense of the bishop, and then I fork the king and the queen on that square. That's two tactics in one. Number one, that's deflection, because you deflect the queen from protecting the bishop. But number two, that's a tactic known as attraction, when you attract a piece to a poisonous square. Right? So now, they don't have to take. I'm not trapped, right? Okay, I'm not trapped. G3, I can go here. Oh, well, actually, because they moved the rook up, I can also take the rook. My opponent wrote me a message, says, "My name is Jonah, nice to meet you." They said Levi. It's not Levi, but that's okay. "I just wanted to say I love your content. I have learned a lot. I aspire to be international master one day." That's quite a goal. "I hope you enjoy playing me because I know I will. Also, great move." Thanks, Rocky Elk. Listen, if you're a kid, you can aspire to be an international master, but I'm going to be very honest. Chess is not a lucrative career. I understand that it's had a massive boom this year. I understand I am very fortunate to be in the position that I'm in, but even becoming an international master takes tens of thousands of hours of practice and can bring almost no money. Like, you gotta win some tournaments, first of all, and second of all, you gotta teach. International masters will only make a living off chess if they teach. And if you become an international master, you dedicate all those hours as a kid, and then you go a totally different path of life. I mean, I guess that's okay, right? But the problem is that, well, then you've dedicated all those hours. Like, if I said dedicate 10,000 hours to chess or 10,000 hours to computer science, and let's say you'd be good at both, I would say computer science. Just gonna computer science. So my queen's under attack, right? Queen's under attack, but I don't need to move it. Why not? I can give a check to the king. And you say, well, what? You said you said not to take this. Yes, but you're forgetting that the queen is guarding both. That's the thing, is that danger levels. You guys hear me say this every stream. You can play queen d4, looks like a very good move, but knight d3 is the best. Because queen takes d3, I take the rook. So the queen is overloaded, right? Career choices are screwed now. Don't take. At this point, I want to activate our rook. It's like the third game we've played in a row where our rook hasn't activated until much later in the game. So that's what I will say. And as an, adults also, they do this. They're like, I want to become a, now I can give a check, hit everything, and then bring my rook. I'm not saying don't play chess. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying don't start out playing chess wanting to become an international master. I said this in my beginner course. I say this in so many videos. I'm not sure why chess has such a, I don't know if it's a stigma or just so many people who say this. Like, in chess, everyone is obsessed with these titles. Just play the game. Just play the game. Just play the game. Take. Let's go check. Check. Take. Now we will clean up. My opponent's running their king out. That's actually, this is really smart. This is really clever. It's a really, really clever thing. Make sure that you don't stalemate. Okay, well, we didn't stalemate because they resigned. But you can lock your king away, and sometimes they will stalemate you if you run out of legal moves. So, it was an instructive game. If my opponent had played bishop h4, what I was talking about is playing g5. And now, of course, the sacrifice is a little bit unpleasant, but we can always bring the bishop back. That's the other thing. And then this is what you do. You delay castling, you attack the pinned knight. This is defended. and even sometimes play something like f5. Right? Even something like f5. And then what you do is you play d6, rebuilding on the dark squares. Right? Knight d7, knight f6, and you've got this nice solid knight in the center of the board. So hopefully that was helpful. That was a good game. That was a very good game. All right, Artem is next. So far everyone's been here. I'm going to play e4 again. d6, d4. I'm going to have another King's Indian. Should I kind of want to play a same line as we've seen before, but I wasn't. I don't know if I really want to do that. I don't know. I don't know. I can play bishop f4 and queen d2 as I played. I can also play an interesting. Yeah, let's do that. Let's again go for the same thing. I mean, at least we will have consistency. At least we will have consistency. That's good. Playing an Irish player, 1016 rapid, queen d2. This is sometimes a decent move because it attacks the bishop and it defends against my idea. Now a useful move is f3 because it stops that, and since I'm going to castle, we don't have to worry about the pawn there. Plus, this pawn is like a trampoline for our other pawns. We can't just go with the pawns. They need to be defended. And the pawn on f3 defends. Of course, castling and d5 and a lot of other moves looked okay. Am I friends with Eric Rosen? I don't know who that is. So you've got to ask me questions about am I friends with people I know. Now, this is not great. I already mentioned last game that when you see the person's castling queenside, c6 and queen a5 is the best thing to do. b6 is not great, and we'll find out in a second. So I'm going to play h4. So some people, and by the way, g4 is slightly more accurate. We'll see if my opponent understands why in a second. H4 and h5, just to, I don't care if I lose that pawn. I don't care, because my rook opens up. I'm very happy. What do we say about a center for the attacking player? Last game, we literally said that. Or 2 games ago. Close the center. Close the center. Don't go here, because then the knight takes and hits everybody. The queen's out. Lock the center. And then now, if the opponent plays knight to e8, we just keep pushing. If the opponent uses the horsey to block our attack, we kick the horsey out. Or we realize the horsey only has one move. See, everybody wants to do this, but you go, wait a second. So first things first, that's a free pawn. That's a free pawn. Would you take it? It's a tough one. It's a free pawn. It's a free pawn. h5 is better. h5 is better. Keeps the center closed. All of this is far scarier than losing one pawn. It's better not to take. It's better not to take, because taking opens up black's position. Black will be able to, oh no, and they blunder right away. Just bishop takes pawn now. Now we're in. Now we're just in. I think my opponent here is already in serious, serious trouble. They have to play something like f6. It's better than h6 because I will open the position anyway, but at least f6 can maybe like break the center somehow, but it's, I mean, actually f6, there's e6. Oh my goodness. And the knight would have to go there. Oh, this is very unpleasant. That is very, very unpleasant. And now, I mean, it's just lost. So 2 games in a row, yeah, just queen in and take, and game is over. In this exact position, my opponent has like a slight way of delaying it. Slight way. That was not the way. It had to be g5. You had to sacrifice the g-pawn. You had to sack the g-pawn and put the king in the corner, because then the h-file doesn't open. See, what happens now is I take with the pawn and the h-file is open. So we see the danger here of opening the rook. And this is checkmate in two ways. This is number one. This is number two. This allows the king to escape. This is mate. So what went wrong? What went wrong, right? First of all, we see how dangerous of a system this is. And again, we had a guy castle. So 2 games in a row. I, again, highly recommend c6 and trying to begin attacking one guy faster than they can attack you. Because the way this game goes, already white has an advantage. And b6 is a serious error. h4 should be met almost always with h5. I'm not joking. It will help you so much. And I was going to play the move g4 here, trying to get them to take and just sacrifice and go crazy. But the best move after b6 is actually g4. It's not h4. Because you anticipate this and you can push or take, and I mean, it can become the same thing, but this is a slightly better version. So now d5 is already, e5 is the best move, and black is in serious trouble. You know, black can play bishop here and just kind of hope for the best, but as I was saying about this square, I would play knight to e2, and then g4, and this is incredibly dangerous for black. Incredibly dangerous. Opposite side castling. All right, we're gonna go to k-kiv next. I'll go for k-kiv. And the reason, I mean, like I said, I don't enjoy blasting through these games necessarily, but I also do want to show you the best practical weapons for these openings. So this game I will go standard e4, e5. Okay? That's what I will do. Okay, knight c6. Knight f6. Will my opponent go for the fried liver? No fried liver. Okay. Fine. And what should we do? There's a lot of different openings here. Bishop c5 is good. Taking is good, but a little dangerous. A little dangerous. I guess I'll play bishop c5. Fine, 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 fine. What kind of coffee I got? It's just it's like a ginger soda. Not really a soda. It's like a carbonated drink. Now, one thing I really like is just taking away g5 completely. Notice again, white castled really fast. White castled really fast. So what I like to do in e4, e5 positions is to play, okay, this is a logical move, is I like to not castle this way. So I'll play something like d6. And if they take here, taking is dangerous because it opens up the f-file. I don't want to get the rook into the game. Like, you might think take, knight g4, but we're not going to win that pawn. Rook e1. Now I'm going to play, is bishop g4 good? I'm going to show you the point now. This is the point. This. I haven't castled, which means that I'm going to develop the queen side and go there with my king. This is a logical move to try to play pawn to d4. Let's develop to g4 here. This destabilizes the d4 square. How? Because the knight no longer defends it. So if my opponent plays d4, I can take the knight, for example, and the pawn on d4 loses a defender. First of all, but I don't want to just do that, because they don't have to. First of all, they can take like this, and second of all, even at the cost of a pawn, losing this bishop, with all of my pawns on the dark squares, you know, let's bring the bishop back. The center is well protected. We're not worried. Maybe they take. If they take, we might need to trade the queen. We might not. We might take with the knight. Did I see Dubov Karyakin from the Russian Championship? Not only have I seen it, I made a video about it. But the problem is I made the video too quickly after launching one in the earlier part of the day. so the algorithm didn't really push it out. But go feel free to check out that video. So this move pins the knight to the king. And d5 now becomes a threat. That's what I'm thinking about here. I'm thinking that this, to attack me, I'm going to get rid of this bishop. Go away. Go away. Go away. My opponent evidently does not really want to go away. They're maintaining this pin. If I play queen e7, they're going to go d5. Ah, that's a little bit annoying. Should I bring the bishop back? Should I bring the knight back to block this? If I play queen here, they just go here. Taking this is also okay, but d5. I can also play the kinda ugly king f8. Ugh. King, ugh. Let's go knight to d7. Why is castling bad? Castling is okay. But I don't want to move my rook away from the h-file. I like my rook where it is. Aha! The plan has been discovered. Let us move the knight. Now notice the center. Oh, that's also a good move. I can't take. Now the center is becoming closed. Which means we can start an attack. First, let's kick out the bishop using the pawn structure that he just gave us. We might just keep our king in the center for this game. Our king is very safe. Now f5. See, the thing about f5 is that it looks smart, but it just opens the center for him. We don't want that. So what we're going to do is we're going to attack with these two pawns rather than moving the e-pawn off the board. And then play something like knight f4, knight h4, queen f6. Too slow here. My opponent is taking a little bit too much time, and if I just get a few more moves, like for example, I would love if this g-pawn was gone. I would love if self-capture was a thing like that. That'd be incredible, but unfortunately it's not. When do you know not to castle? If you're castling into weak territory, if your king is safer in the center. In this case, my king is safer in the center. Oh, this is going to be a moment where... Can I? Can I sack my bishop? You guys know what I'm going to do. You guys know what I'm thinking already. This is why you should follow me on Instagram. This is why. This move h5. Gothamchess on Instagram. I post carousel-style instructional chess content. And this is a fishing pole trick. And he doesn't even... He doesn't want no part of this fishing pole. The point is you give the piece. Go follow Gothamchess on Instagram. You get this. That's a good plug. It's a good plug. Play c4. I'm going to play b4 because regretful chlamydia gifting 5 subs. What a username. This forces the knight to go back. Now is my moment. Right now. Right now is the moment in the game that I can win. Sack the bishop. Here it is. Here we go. g4. Because his queen out of the game. Out of the game. The knight is the only remaining piece. If I shred it open in the right way, the king is wide open. We sacrificing. The difference, if I had taken the knight, he brings out his queen. I can damage his structure, and if I did, that would have been nice. Plant the knight on f4. That's nice. Notice, light squared bishop, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 light squared pawns. What? That's like having a 300 square foot apartment. You can't move anywhere. Trust me, I would know. I live in New York City. Okay, well, he's just giving me this. Now, here's the difference between this position and the last one. The difference is that there's this. In the other position, the pawn was the guard of the queen. Now we have this. Now the game is over. Now the game is over. Nice game, though. That was a pretty instructive game of how to attack a castled king. Now, whether our king ended up on the other side of the board or on the same side, well, we can walk into another fork, but this is even more deadly because this is probably force mate in a second. It is. Yeah, now we go check. The king goes down. If rook we take the rook. We go knight f3 on the next move. Holmes with 7 months, thank you. A lot of prime subs as well, appreciate all of you. And now this is checkmate, and if the rook blocks, that's checkmate. And the queen and the knight do the boxing. Of course, that is a free bishop, but mate is more devastating. Check, and here. I am not living in a 300 square foot apartment now, but I've definitely lived in small spaces in New York. So, fried liver, I was going to play the Traxler counterattack. There are other lines in the fried liver. Probably when I upload this video to YouTube, there already is a fried liver video that I have, but I'm going to do a full video of the fried liver. And how to stop it, and how to move with it, and pre-moving against the knight f3? What? Pre-moving knight f3? No, I'm not insane. It's not insane to pre-move knight f3 in this position. Because if he had played rook to g2, then knight f3 would have been a check. What's the Traxler? What do you do against fried liver if they take with the bishop versus the knight? Good question. Well, first of all, if you're allowing the fried liver, you should not even be allowing this. Thank you, Moosh. But if you're playing the Traxler, bishop takes f7 does in fact refute the refute the Traxler. That is how, I mean, you should check an openings database. But in general, if they play something like this, you got to do your best. I mean, bishop f7 is the best move against the Traxler. So if you're playing against people at a level where they know how to counter this crazy thing, the Traxler being that after knight f7 there is bishop takes f2 check, crazy thing here. Even here, king f1 is the best move, so that you cannot take the pawn with a check. That would be the difference. Is that here you get the check and the queen comes out and it's wild stuff. You can checkmate a person in 9 moves. But it's all traps. That's the thing, is that it's all traps. It's not actually serious stuff. You're not actually playing into the main line of the position. All right, I'm going to play Mining Math Gamer. He once had to leave because he was like in school or something. I've played I'm going to play e4 again. Hopefully this isn't another King's Indian. That would be 3 games. Okay, perfect. So, let's go knight f3, classical stuff. Let's go bishop c4. Let's see what they play. Mining Math Gamer. Bishop c5. And, of course, in this position, ladies and gentlemen, the Evans Gambit. I mean, how can you not? Ladies and gentlemen, how can you not play the Evans Gambit in this position? We can also be like Dubov and play c3, d4. But how can you not play the Evans Gambit? If you make it that far, and you're not uncorking the Evans Gambit on people, you're doing it wrong. Now, if the opponent is using a computer or an openings database, they will get a perfectly playable position. But that does not stop the venom of the Evans Gambit. Now, you can play d4. I'm not saying he is, by the way. I'm just saying in general, it doesn't matter, right? Gambits aren't winning if they know what they're doing, like the Traxler. So d4 is fine here. Castles is also fine, followed by d4. I like d4 because it's very venomous, which is one of my favorite words to use for openings. I appreciate all of you cheering bits, by the way. Just because I'm not thanking each and every one of you doesn't mean I don't appreciate it. So we play b4. The point of the Evans Gambit is to sacrifice a pawn to make the opponent move the bishop 3 times. And in doing so, they waste time developing. And we castle, we sacrifice a second pawn. And we, we do our thing. Queen here, and I don't exactly remember my theory here, but now I believe we attack the knight immediately. If the knight goes out, we have to attack it immediately. Now the knight should move. The knight should move. The knight should move. Mr. Super Duper saying, what are income options in chess besides teaching and coaching? That's it. I suppose you could be a nude chess model? I don't know. You could be a chess clown at a birthday party? I don't know. Not a lot of options, I'll tell you right now. Really not. You could be a streamer. Yes. Yes, sorry, I thought he put that in his list. Yes, you can. Yes, you can be a streamer, I'm sorry. My bad. Yeah, the job I'm currently doing on the, yeah, I thought he wrote that, but he didn't, yes. Okay, he didn't write that. So, the best move there, I think, is d5, and then it's wild. I take the knight, he takes me, I take the pawn, wild stuff. He goes here. Okay, rook e1, and in this case I'm saying he because I know this is a he. Thank you, oh my goodness, for the sub gifts. Rook e1 attacks the knight and sacrifices another pawn. Do we like that? That could get real wild. That could get real wild. Should we get wild? Ooh, should we get wild? We like wild? We like wild, huh? Okay, let's get wild. Let's get wild. We are going to go 3 pawns down, but that is how you play a gambit. Every move should be aggressive. You know, I'm even thinking bishop d5 to make this knight move again. Dubov played this in his game today against Karyakin. He played this bishop d5 idea. Now my queen's hit, so I have to get rid of the knight or move my queen. I'm gonna take, and he will move the bishop for a 4th time! And it will be a fork! But I don't care! I don't care! I'm here for content! I don't care! I have 2 choices, bishop a3, which prevents him from castling, or bishop g5, which almost traps his queen and forces him to go knight e7. Oh, how do I choose, chat members? How do I choose? It all looks so good. It's like Christmas. I mean, what do I do? It all looks so good. I can also take on f7. Ah, what do I do? I don't know. Oh, I'm having, like, sensory overload. Okay, we're gonna play bishop g5. I mean, it just looks too good. Like, they've got a cocoon. They've got a cocoon with the knight, or else they lose the queen. I mean, this is, oh my goodness. This actually looks very similar to what Dubov did today against Karyakin. Again, I'm saying that. So, we're down 3 pawns, but we are forcing our opponent to not castle, to constantly be living in fear of losing material or losing the game. Why not c6 from black? What does that mean? What? c6? Now, of course, between the 2 rooks, I would prefer to lose the corner rook, because my central rook is very good. Can also take on d4. Now could be a good time to sack. And then play queen b3. But the problem is I can't quite get my knight in. Like, my knight actually would want to be on that square. So, we're going to take here. Of course, if bishop takes, that's very good for us. We are no longer going to lose a rook. No, f6 is losing, because pawn takes and discovered attack, and then, I mean, no, my opponent's playing decent chess. They're up 2 pawns. Now they got to choose which rook to take. And I have another idea, which is, after this, to maybe not even take the rook. I mean, not even take the bishop. I might just go, like, here. And just not even take at all. Am I insane? Whew. I am so tempted to just not even take and just play queen h5. Okay. Okay. Okay, we're not doing it. I don't know whether queen f3 is better than queen h5. My queen looks better here. It just, I mean, it looks very nice on that square. At the same time, by the way, I could have played knight f5, which might have even been stronger. Bishop takes f2 is actually extremely clever. This is a really clever move, because my opponent knows they're going to lose the bishop regardless. So now they're checking me, and I might have to move my king into the open. At the same time, I can... Okay, but this one I think I should just take. There is nothing complicated here. G6 blocks with tempo, however, then I go here and my opponent cannot castle. Right now, the only thing allowing my opponent... you're allowing these moves because my opponent's 1.5k? 1.1k? No. 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 I mean, I would take this position against the Grandmaster. This looks terrifying for black. Does this not look awful? I mean, look at... Have you ever seen a position where on move 15, every piece black has is in the same rectangle on 7th and 8th? I mean, I'm just saying, have you ever seen a position like this? It's very rare, right? So it looks... If your position can be best characterized by a sound, that's probably bad news. That is the most instructive moment of today's stream. If your entire game can be characterized by one then yeah, it's probably not very good. So yeah, but they're up 5 points having said that. So now of course I am a move away from if I... Okay, what makes this position go round is in this case, I think I can play en passant. I think that's what makes this position possible. That, by the way, just have to... At the same time, I have e6, which hits this. I think en passant is right. I think en passant... I think this is the way to go. En passant. And now that the king is in the open, we need to monitor the checks. So now I re-have this threat, and then bishop takes is now a problem. Pawn takes is not a problem for my opponent, because then queen takes and I lose. I lose. Me. I lose. Me, not them. You hang a triple fork, then you lose. I did not miss checkmate in one, Tio. I appreciate you trying to coach me, but listen, man, I would have played bishop takes queen f7. I was in check. I did not miss it. He played d5 because maybe he thinks castling is too dangerous, or because he's using a computer and computer is saying d5. What? Huh? So my opponent might have thought that pawn e7 there was, I don't know, was what, I don't know. But now bishop e7. So I win the pawn, I win the knight, and now I'm also going to win the rook. So those are the only two options. The only two options are that my opponent thought that castling was too dangerous. He felt like d5 was the better move. Or he looked at a computer. The computer said play d5. And so he played it. And maybe I'm still losing. Like, maybe I think I'm not losing, but I am losing. Who knows? But it doesn't look like I'm losing. I'm being tongue-in-cheek and sarcastic because in reality that oftentimes happens with titled players. We'll be playing against someone, and they're playing moves that just don't look possible at all. And then it turns out that we're lost. And we're like, oh, turns out those moves were possible. It's time to activate my rook, I think, and I'll tell you why. I can take, but I'm done moving this pawn. I'm gonna give back a pawn. It's the holiday season. I'm gonna give back the pawn. CD6, and then we'll figure it out. My rook is not playing, and now that my rook is in the game, I'm happy. Queen d6 is not possible because queen f7 and queen g8 mate. So CD6 is practical. The bishop cannot really move anywhere. I mean, bishop d7. But then I would take because my rook is in, or using my pawn as a defender, I find a way to get real close in there. So in this game, we used our very active pieces to create nonstop swarming pressure and ultimately break through. G6 is a good move attacking our queen. It's a good move. I have a lot of decent looking moves here. Let's go queen e5, because I want to trade the queen. Okay? I want to go here. So queen e8 to me is the best move because it just simplifies the position. I know we've been attacking most of this game, but actually getting the queens off the board and getting my rook infiltrating on the back rank would make this position extremely difficult. You only really want to trade queens or any pieces when you're up in material? That's not true. I mean, you can trade pieces to get a positional outpost. My next Instagram post will be about outposts. Sometimes you trade to gain control over a square, for example. I mean, it's tough. It's you can't just right, so they take queen e8 or queen e7. Yay. That's a lot of noises that I just made. I'm gonna go to e7. I don't know. Queen f6. Queen f6 also good. Queen f6 also good. Yeah. Queen f6 maybe also. Queen e. Let's go queen e7. I don't know. Queen e8. I'll tell you why. Queen e8 looks good, but they don't have to take. Queen e8. My opponent can move the bishop out to this square, and then the rook attacks my queen. Queen e7 at least monitors all three pawns. Tough to tell. Then knight can sneak in, take the pawn. Go to c7. Etc. Queen f6 is good. Okay. Let's see what they do. Queen g7, bishop g4. Bishop f5 looks good. A lot of decent moves here. Taking is fine. But my opponent does only have 1 minute on the clock, which is not good. It's going to be difficult to play a position with just 1 minute on the clock. Now there's 50 seconds. Bishop to g4 has been played. I can just take the queen. At the same time, I can just attack the bishop because my rook is protecting the queen. So the bishop doesn't have any square on this diagonal it can go to. Unless it goes all the way back. Bishop f5, I'm just going to immediately snap it off. Why? Because then I double the pawns. So I'm damaging the structure. And bishop to h5, there is what? Oh, I have something very nasty here. This is under attack. And that would be a fork. That's a very clever move. But I have a very cool move here, which forces everything off the board, which is queen to e8. Now if my opponent takes my sacrificed queen, the king is basically mated, with the exception of the queen having to block. So then we trade everybody, every rook and queen, and at the end I take the bishop. So it's just about forcing moves. A queen sacrifice on the back rank, queen f8, take, and h takes g4. Yo, be more Irby with the 14 months. Hello, long time no see. I will definitely analyze this game afterward. It was very weird. So, e5, my opponent played the only move. Knight e4. There's also d5, which leads to crazy stuff. Rook e1 is what I played here, but I'm not sure it's the best move. Bishop a3, it looks like, is the best move. But this is something you go to check the openings database with. Take, and I played, and so knight c3 is losing for black. Knight c3 is losing for black. That's crazy. Take, and I played bishop g5, which is the best move. Knight e7, knight takes d4, which is the best move. Bishop takes e1, and this is too slow. Queen h5 is the second best move. Knight f5 is the best move. Just trying to take... Oh my goodness. It just shows you how powerful and scary... Why didn't I play this, by the way? I thought he had bishop b4. just defending. Oh, bishop b4 just loses because of check, and the king is stuck in the center forever. Okay. Yeah, knight f5 is, I don't know why I didn't play knight f5, actually. Of course, knight f5 is just quite natural. But okay, I played this. Bishop takes f2. And now the only move that doesn't lose is g6? Queen h... My goodness, that looks awful. Oh, no, 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 no. So this is when I made the joke that d5 is either him thinking that castling is too dangerous or computer. So I'll tell you, when he played d5 in this position, it's +8 for white. So, yeah, d5 was definitely not the best move. But, you know, if it was, then I would be like, wow, he's really brave. It lost the game, though, because of en passant. So just remember you have en passant. Now, if he had castled here, then I would have played knight f5 with more pressure. If he played rook e8, he stops defending the f7 pawn. Right, so rook guards, and then check here, and that's mate with this. So we got all of our pieces in this game playing, and it led to just destruction here. Complete destruction. Rook e1 here, natural move. And if he had taken c takes d6... Oh, there's something so nice, chat members. I was really hoping that that he would play cd6, but cd6 loses. It's a very natural looking move, which loses the game on the spot to the gorgeous move queen takes f7 check. Right? Except, this is not mate. This is not mate. It's not mate. Because it's check. Haha. Everybody got debated. That's what you do. You get real hype. You're like, oh, I'm a genius. Bing, bang, uh-oh. 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 Now we're just down 2 pawns. Uh-oh. This, after a game like this, you just throw. It's what, no more chess. No more chess for like 3 days, and yeah. No. No, it looks very good. Actually, when I was first playing the game, I thought the same. And then when I arrived here in analysis, like just now, I realized it was a check. So actually, during the game, I thought I was going to play queen f7. I wasn't, you know, maybe I would have realized during the game. But when we arrived to the analysis, I was like, we have a beautiful move. And I was like, a move prior, I was like, wait a second. No, it's not. But I figured I would stick to the joke. Right when we got here, I was like... Anyway, that looks like something that is very easy to blunder. C takes d6, queen f7, and then rook to e8. Ouch. And you know what the worst part is? Let's say like this was the position. That's so nice. That's so nice. The queen cannot take the rook because of the pin. Oh. Oh. So nice. Bishop takes f7 does not work because again, it's check. The point is that it's a check. Right? And then rook to e8. That's the point. So you want rook e8, but you're in check and you can't do anything. Good analysis here. Good analysis. Okay, someone in the chat is look, I'm just gonna say, do not write the same message 25 times. Thanks. But I'm going to address this because here somebody was pointing out that he could have played the move bishop e6. Yes, you are correct. You are correct. He could have. You're right. It's true. It's true. If I take, he takes my queen. Disconnects. Yes. But I would just take the queen here. And we move on. So, I just don't lose your queen. Bishop e6 is a cool move. And you don't even have to take this. This might help the opponent discover check. But you can, and then you win this pawn. And no, d5 here is actually a little annoying. Can't take this, and this guards, and no way to... Okay, so it's life. He takes with the pound. Did you just call a pawn a pound? Okay, you've officially lost all credibility, person in chat who called a pawn a pound. All right. Let's keep on going. Whoa, Stevis. Pound. You're right, though. I'm teasing, but you are correct. Let's play the KANN. For YouTube, this will be the final game. This time we will play c6 against the KANN. You're Italian. I am not Italian, but no, I'm just, listen, I'm just being a troll. Take. Exchange KANN. Okay. So there's a lot of ways to play a KANN where the pawns are traded. In general, I always say knight c6. Because where else are you going to put this knight? You're going to put it on a6? Come on, stop. Stop. I'm going to play knight c6. Then, oftentimes, I also say, okay, not something you need to worry about. This is guarded. Queen a5 does not win a bishop because there is knight to c3. If my opponent plays b3 right now, then that's going to work. I like to bring the bishop out to g4 in these positions, if I can. And actually, I like to take. I actually like to take. So if they attack, I prefer this trade. I'll tell you why. The pawn in the center gets a little bit destabilized. So like this. And I say don't trade the bishops for the knights, but in this particular structure, it's pretty good. Watch, I'm going to play a6, and maybe I will play g6, bishop g7. First, let's go here. So, okay, the trade has occurred. So now neither of us has a light squared bishop. I'm going to play g6. Now notice this kind of destabilizes my knight. All right, little bit destabilized. All right. Now bishop to g7, but the good thing is that this is protected. This is fine, and now we're going to castle. Is there a person in chat talking about Northern Lion and cars? This is neither Northern Lion nor cars. This is Gothamchess, and it's chess. But you're more than welcome to talk about those things. Knight d7 instead of g6? What? Could I have played knight d7 instead of g6? But why would I go knight d7? Why would I undevelop? Let's try to go here. Okay, that person just ignored everything I said and is still talking about cars. Okay, maybe they're on a little trip. The trip is good. Let's put the knight in the middle. Why not? It's a good square. How do I play in these videos? Twitch sub. And you just have to be here. But I'm going to be recording one of these episodes a lot. A lot. And then, for YouTube in particular, for Twitch. What keys are used to draw arrows? Right-clicking. It just has to be a setting. You have to pay chess.com $3,000 a year to enable it. You also have to lie. That's a good move. Taking the open file cannot be bad. This person's 1200. This person is good players today. Do you think learning one opening really well at the 1100 level is a good idea? As opposed to what? You have to understand, what is the context of the rest of that question? As opposed to never learning an opening? Yeah, probably it's a good idea. As opposed to learning 10 openings? Yeah, it's a good idea. You learn 10 openings, you learn no openings. So learn one. Learn one and play it well, and you know, if you want to build long-term progress, I'm going to bring my knight back too. You know, he inspired me. I'll bring my knight back too. And then route it to one of these two squares. This game also is going to be won and lost with a pawn structure. So b3, I cannot take, obviously. And this pawn is a bit weak. So, by the way, I can go back. By the way. I'm going to make a big decision right now. And I'm not very happy with it. Actually, no, I'm not. Actually, yes, I will. F6. Why? Why? Why am I playing this? Why? Because I want to go here. That's why. Long-term progress? Long-term progress what? What? I'm just saying that if you want to get better in the long term, you shouldn't play like silly stuff, like gambits all the time. I mean, if you want to get better long term, you should definitely pick up a good opening, a more mainline opening, and add layers to that opening. I want to go e5. My opponent goes here. Now the queen sees the pawn. Rook e8. Let's try to go e5. What's the difference between London system and Mason variation? The difference between those two is that I have no idea what the hell the Mason variation is. Sorry. Okay, good move by my opponent. Let's jump the knight back into the middle. Now my knight is happy. Now my knight is very happy. That's called an outpost square. It's a square in the opponent's territory that is not controlled by any pawns. This square in particular, he can control with a knight. Knight f2 or knight c5. Or the knight, if it could go there. But it's a very nice square. In my position, a move ago, knight c5 could have been a potential outpost. But I can trade there. This is not a good trade. My knight is very pretty. Their knight is not so pretty. Now I'm going to bring my queen out. I kind of like where the king just went. Now my queen has some scope here. The c5 square is accounted for. And this pawn, oh my goodness, that is a decent move. What about the move e4? Now are we ready with the 4 defenders on this homie? Let's go. e5. This could be the move. We have built this pawn up. I mean, we played f6, blocking out the bishop. You know, we lived in the apartment with no windows to save money for a year so we could get a nicer apartment. That was this bishop had no windows. And now we're moving up in the world. Let's go for e5. If cd5, cd5. We not shook. We not shook. Take. Whoa, I don't like that. I'm not going to take this guy. I'm going to take the free pawn. Why not? I'm not going to take that. That's not a free pawn. That results in the bishop arriving there. This is just free. And who's on the other side of the rookie? What is this? What is that? Thank you for the $3. Very instructive stream. Thank you. I can take back, but this is a very instructive lesson in that it's not checkers. You don't have to take back. You don't have to take back. I can send the newspaper article. I saw that. I already tweeted about it. Yeah, I saw it. Now we're hitting this and this and this. Knight takes d2 would have been worse because then just queen takes. Yeah, I was the translation of the Belgian article in Des Standaard was very interesting. It was like something. They told me I have some sort of charm. It started with the letter A. I forgot what the word was. So I'll take the rook with check, and then they said I have a big mouth, which is true. Asinine? No. Who would win, tired and sleepy Hikaru or performance-enhancing drugs using Levy? Oh, I'm using the drugs. Got it. The drugs aren't using me. Okay, the phrasing. Hikaru beats me in most straight-up matchups, even if he's, dead tired. I want to get my rook in somehow. I also want to activate my bishop. How do we do all of that? Rook e2 was not possible? No. Don't get greedy. Don't get greedy. Someone's going to block. No. Now rook e2 is nice. I can achieve it by playing the move queen. Queen h5 is a freaking genius move. by me. Oh my goodness. Look at the giga brain. Now, okay, you can also play like bishop here, for example, to line it up. But you could double the rooks. You could play rook e7, rook e, blah, 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 blah. But queen h5 is also a good move. Don't be greedy, chat. And all of you want to play rook to e2. Now rook e2 is very different. Bishop h6 was possible, but bishop h6, the thing about bishop h6, like, what does bishop h6 do? It lines up the bishop to the pawn, excuse me. But do you have a threat? No. No threat. So rook here. You know, I don't want to, I don't want to take and allow the queen to win over the file. So here's what I'll do. Mini lesson. Using your king in endgames. Using your king in endgames. Normally you don't want to do this, especially with a queen so close. But I want to play rook e8. Rook e8. I want to play this move because then I'm just winning. Now I'm going to play rook e8 and I think I'm just winning. So that was easy. And then rook e2 and Guh. Croak says, wishing you and your family a Merry Christmas. Thanks for over 2 years of content. Thanks for the poker crossover to make me discover the greatness of chess. Shout out to Croaks with the 2. Well, he's been a, wait a second. Did you say 2 years of content and you're only sub for 13 months? Okay, that's no problem. That's fine. Enjoyed content for free for like 11 of those months. That's okay. That's fine. Just kidding. I love you, Croaks. I know Croaks from the OG channel I used to follow on Twitch, which is Lex Veldhouse. I'm not mad. Anyway, knight e4. Chat, are you ready? Here is how you could throw the game. The knight is pinned to the queen. What is the best move? f5. Yes, of course, f5. Of course. Look at how many people saying f5. And you lose the game because knight to d6 is check. Was the knight free? Oh. I'm out here trying to teach you guys, and meanwhile I'm not taking free pieces. Fantastic. Excellent. Good stuff. That's what I get. I get a neck. I'm from New York City. If one of our friends does something stupid, you slap him on the neck. That's what that's called. I get necked for that. Yeah, that's just a free horse. I got tunnel vision. Okay, very good. See, there you go. Beautiful. If you made it this far in the YouTube video, you can comment that I'm a doofus. So. Chat, f5 loses. f5 loses to knight d6 check. You want to go f5? Knight move with check. Can they check me? Can they check me? Can they check me? Yes, on d6, and you would lose the rook. Instead, go queen d5. Now you win, because the d6 square is covered, and this has no moves and cannot be protected. Easy. Wow. Thank you, Red John. Thank you. Donated $25. Very generous donation. Yeah, earlier today, Anna Rudolph was doing a campaign for charity. She was trying to raise $10,000. She had like 6,000, and I joined. I donated 1,000. I'll be giving to charity a lot this month. Gotta go check out. A few different charities over the next few weeks. So. Anyway, my opponent is thinking this will be the last game for YouTube, but we will play 3 more games overall. So don't go anywhere. Queen takes or rook takes are both okay. All right, that was a very confident move of the queen, and that is a resignation. So that was a CARO KANN exchange. Relatively standard. This was a hard game. This was a hard game. For at the 1200 level, I think he played better than I think a person his level would have played with black, because the plan here for black is actually not simple. He played extremely well. He blocked out my bishop with the pawn chain, and it was a maneuvering game. Ultimately it came down to pawn breaks in the center of the board. So it was an instructive game, honestly. Like, this whole plan that I came up with to push my pawns in the center of the board like this, it's, I mean, that's a tough plan. I mean, that's just a tough plan. There's, like, there are better ways to play these positions. I will give you a few now, okay? So, for example, you can play g6 and bishop g7 without this trade. So, something like this. And then later you'll fight the game in this area, but ultimately it comes down to whether or not you can play in the center with f6 e5 or on the c file. So something like bishop to f5, bishop f4, bishop f5, rook c8, queen here, a6, b5. The exchange CARO is tough to play. There is also one other very unique thing that I like to do here, which is g6 without moving the knight on c6 at all. And the idea is, like, if bishop comes out, we just trade the bishop or just bring the knight. But actually, you go with bishop g7, and then you know what you do? What you do? You play like this. What the heck is that? This is what you do. You play f6. Knight f7. That's what you do. And you set up for e5 like this. I really like this line. This really confuses people. And you play knight c6, let's say like a3, knight c6, and this way you supercharge this e5 move. And actually what can happen oftentimes is they blunder a fork because you hit the bishop and you just play e4. So you have like bomb and bonk. Bonk and bonk, and there's just not, like, you're protected three ways. So knight h6, knight f7 is the way you would do that. So knight h6, knight f7. Of course, white, the critical way for white to snuff this out is to play like an early c4 to break your center. Then you don't have time to build all of this up with f6, knight f7 because you're dealing with this. That's what grandmasters do against me, but you guys can feel free to try that. Maybe grandmasters won't do that against you. Anyway, 6 Hannibal 9 has written the same message 5 times in the last minute. That is a very powerful message that they are writing. I don't know why you're writing it 5 times. Twitch. So we're going to sign off with YouTube now, so say bye. YouTube, this is going to be the final game of episode 2. Hope you enjoyed. Yeah, leave a comment if you made it this far in the video. You're beautiful. You're amazing. You're talented. You are loved. And all those good things. But Twitch, we're going to keep the party going.